Each and every month, I get the opportunity to play with a lot of pickleball paddles, and I love that. I'm super grateful for it. Some of these are great paddles, some are great, but maybe don't fit my play style well, and some could probably use some improvement. But what I don't love is that I realistically don't have the time to do a full high production value review for all of these paddles, like you see here on my channel. So, with that in mind, we're trying something new here. Welcome to the Paddle Roundup. No distinct time frame, but when I've hit enough variety of paddles, I'll release a video just like this one, sharing some brief thoughts, basic stats, and perhaps some comparisons. These can be upcoming paddles that haven't hit the market, recent releases, or even some older paddles that have worked their way back into my rotation. And with any of these, there's still a chance that I'll be releasing a full in-depth video. So with all that in mind, let's dive into the very first paddle roundup. We're going to start with the Mark Pickleball Unmarked. This paddle is not out yet, and you can see the basic stats on the screen here. It is a CFC layup, so 2 layers of carbon fiber with a layer of fiberglass in the middle, and it uses 10mm honeycomb core cells, both of which give it some good pop and power. I've hit this for a couple hours now. I've enjoyed my time with it. It's a very solid paddle that can give you some decent power, but it's not overwhelming power. It has some similar build characteristics to some other recent paddles like the 11624 power paddles and the Chorus Super Quartz, which I've done videos on. And you can tell it feels similar, but I do think this is a bit lower on the power scale than the 11624 power series for sure, and possibly the Super Quartz as well. If you've been playing one of the older Mark pickleball paddles already, this will be a good upgrade, and I could definitely see this being a company to keep an eye on in the future. Next, we have the Bread and Butter Invader. Stats will be on screen, and I absolutely love this paddle. I've had it since it came out in November, and it was my main paddle until I started testing the Carbon True Foams. I had every intention of making a full review video for this, and I still might, but I have this whole short film I wanted to shoot in some cornfields. We got some early snow here in Minnesota, and here we are. This paddle features carbon fiber as well as a layer of fiberglass for added pop, and also uses that polyester weave, which gives the paddle a feel that I absolutely love. It feels stiffer and poppier to me than the Shogun, but while it is stiff, it's not unforgiving. And what really piqued my interest again with the Invader though was playing with the weighted up version that Matt from Matt's Pickleball had. I used that in the ball comparison video where I hit some 64 mile/hour serves, and so I've been playing with it again. The added weight of just 3 grams on each side really opens up the pop and power of this thing, and it can be an absolute rocket. I love the hybrid shape and of course the design and theme of this paddle, and highly recommend that you pick one of these up if it feels like a good fit for your game. Up next, we have the Reload, which is an incredibly unique approach to pickleball paddles. Gone are the days of your paddles slowly losing its grit and spin over time, requiring you to spend another couple $100 every 6 months or every year. Instead, the Reload is a paddle system that lets you reload the surface and the grit of your paddle whenever you want, making it a much more cost-effective approach to pickleball paddles. It's easy to replace the grit, which is essentially just a well-built and well-designed sticker, but of course none of this matters unless the paddle performs well, which it does. It very much feels like a control-focused all-court paddle to me, which features an incredibly soft, smooth touch. It was actually really nice to have this in my bag in a time when most companies are chasing power. It was fun to swap this in and really focus on my soft game. It feels a little on the heavy side to me, but not unmanageable, and was very stable and consistent. I really like the approach that they've taken with something that is basically completely new. I think if you are somebody who doesn't care about trying new paddles all the time, this might be the most cost-effective approach to a good pickleball paddle, and I'm excited to see how they continue to innovate in the pickleball space. Here we have the Velo Edge, which I believe is a smaller brand, but they are available on Amazon, which I know can be nice for some people. It offers decent stats, and I felt like it was just an all-around totally fine paddle. I think this has an interesting potential market as a starter paddle with its price point after coupon below $80 and its availability again on Amazon. I actually think back to my very first paddle, which I bought on Amazon for around that price multiple years ago, and this is a similar scenario, but it has scaled with the more recent developments and technologies in paddle construction with foam injected edges, different carbon fiber layers, and other things. This paddle felt on the softer side to me as opposed to a stiff feel. And my biggest complaint with this thing is the handle, which they pitch as a feature, and maybe it's just me, but I did not like it. I do not like the default ridges on the handle, and while it's minor, there is a difference in the way that you wrap your handle, whether you are left or right-handed. And while it's not a big deal, it is more apparent with those built-in ridges. Up next, we have the Aiso Ryu, which is a wide-body paddle, and according to them, the cheapest Gen 3 paddle on the market. I gave one of these away recently, and it's a fun paddle to play with. It features rigid foam in the bottom corners to help with pop and sweet spot, and is a lightweight paddle that feels pretty quick in the hands and is decently springy off the face. The swing weight of 112 is just slightly higher than wide body average, but the twist weight of 7.8 is incredibly high. While it is Gen 3, it's definitely not a power paddle, which I just want to say because I think that's what we often think of with that term. Power is there, but it's not like a top tier paddle in that category. And that's kind of my same take when it comes to pop. It has pop, it feels good, but it's not the poppiest paddle that I've ever played with. Overall, it's pretty well-rounded, it's got a cool design that stands out a little, and at its price point of $89 after discount, I think it will definitely find some footing in the industry. So I'd love to get all of you involved in this process. Let me know what paddles you're looking to have included in future versions of this video. If you want to purchase any of these paddles, I've got links and discounts for all of them down below in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.